Welcome back to the Global Local, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to come hang out with me. If you're new to my channel, welcome aboard. I hope you get something out of today's video, truly. And for the guys that's been with me for a while, as always, what's going on, brothers, man? I hope you guys are okay. I really hope your families are doing well. Today, I'm back on the road again, and I do want to talk about today's topic while I'm out here, which is how easy it is for expats to get arrested out here in the Philippines. I'm kind of going to give you guys a cautionary guide. Being out here, there's a lot of things that some expats coming out here they don't know, especially for the new guys. So I'm kind of going to direct this towards the new guys. If you older guys, you older vets that's been out here for a while, you want to add anything to the story, hey, hit me up in the comment section so everybody can get a piece of your advice as well. And of course, we want to build a good expat community so everybody can come out here and enjoy their time peacefully. Now, everybody knows that the Philippines is often seen as just this one big paradise for foreign nationals. Of course, the beaches and everything else that go along with it, including the hospitality of the locals, which is amazing. All right. Let's just be real about something. Many expats don't realize how quickly paradise can turn into prison out here, especially if they're not careful, especially when it comes to altercations with the locals or even personal drama with your girlfriends. So today, again, I'm going to break this thing down to the best of my ability to help avoid you becoming a victim or getting arrested while you're out here. All right, I don't want you guys to be tomorrow's tale or tomorrow's headline story while you're out here. Now, the legal system is not built to protect foreigners out here. For you new guys that are coming out here, your rights in the States really don't matter to you. I mean, don't get me wrong. When you have rights while you're here, but they're not as strong as when you can get over here. Your amendments, you can throw them out the window. You're going to have to abide by the laws that are here. The first thing that expats really need to understand is that the Philippine legal system can be used as a weapon. It can be weaponized against you, especially against outsiders. Laws exist to protect its people. And yes, they also can protect you at a certain way and at certain levels or whatever, but these laws can be manipulated through connections or even corruptions or simply out of spite. Somebody can just be mad at you or say something crazy to you, and then boom, you're on the radar. You know what I mean? In cases of involving Philippine citizens versus foreign nationals, especially in emotional or domestic disputes, the system tends to favor the local party. All right, at least initially. Foreigners are seen as guests, and the laws expect them to behave as such. It doesn't matter if you are here for long term or short term. You're seen as a guest because you'll never be Filipino. Simple arguments, they can turn into criminal charges really quick. You think you're just having a heated discussion with your girlfriend in a condo or you're in the streets, whatever, man, you could think again. In the Philippines, they have a law called the verbal abuse law, or the act against women and children, RA 9262. I covered part of it before on this anti-violence law. you know they can report you as psychological violence, and you can get arrested for psychological violence against the women and children and stuff out here. I don't necessarily see it being used against the local nationals that much, but as a foreigner, yeah, they're gonna slap it on you, man. You got the money to pay for it. You be careful out here. Don't get no arguments with your girlfriend. A shove or a grab or aggressive tone, an aggressive tone of voice can be spun into a case of physical abuse. All right. If there are neighbors or friends, barangay officials who side with her, you may be arrested or detained on the spot, even before the full investigation happens. Once a complaint is filed, you might be barred from leaving the country or temporarily jailed while awaiting hearings. And these cases can take months or even years to resolve. The Philippine justice system is slow. They take their time. This is the painful truth, man. And some expats are even falsely accused out of revenge, out of manipulation, or even financial leverage. And there's a lot of common allegation in issues out here that include domestic violence, child support neglect, even for children that might even be biologically yours, with that women that act against women and children one. I said it before, when if you let her move in with you along with her children, and then after like maybe 6 months you put her and the kids out, you can be held responsible for that out here. So be careful when you're letting people live with you. Theft or damaged property, naturally, but verbal threats, oh yeah, man. Or grave they're considered grave coercion or unjust vexation. Man, once these accusations is made, you're already on the defense, man. And it really can be difficult out here and expensive to prove your innocence, especially without legal representation. Even the barangay, the barangay police can be used as a personal weapon against you. I remember one time I was in McDonald's, and this lady was me and my son were there, and I was ordering him some food from McDonald's, and this lady just let her child just run rampant, and he was hitting my son, and he was, hitting all the stuff on the counter, interrupting the guests and stuff like that. And then I grabbed my son and I picked him up, and I told the lady, I was like, "Hey, excuse me." And before I can even get anything out, she looked at me and was like, "You want deport? You want deport? My son is special child." Now, in the back of my head, I'm thinking to myself, like, if your child is special, keep him at home where he can get the proper care. Why do you have him out here disrupting the locals and disrupting the population because you know that he's special? But me, I got to keep a cool head. So in a sense, it's almost like you have to bow down. It's almost like you have to put yourself in check in a lot of ways in order for you to have a peaceful interaction with people if some altercations and stuff happen. It's almost like you can't, even if you really, really are in the right, sometimes it's just better to just be quiet and be like, whatever, being out here in the Philippines, because nothing protects you out here. So when people call the barangays, you got to realize the Philippines has a decentralized system where barangay officials or village level government units can issue summons and get involved in domestic disputes. A girlfriend, ex, neighbor, or anyone that, you've upset easily can file a blotter report against you at the barangay and complain. Even if the complaint is minor, it becomes part of the public record. All right. You might be called for a mediation hearing. If unresolved, it can be escalated to a police report or formal charges. A temporary protection order, or TPO, can even warrant for your arrest. You got to be really careful out here when you're dealing with the locals out here. You got to put your best behavior in check. And again, of course, it's sad that you got to kind of, limit your protection for yourself, self-preservation or self-protection while you're out here to a certain degree in order to keep people happy around you. You know what I mean? So again, when you're coming out here, come out here with your best intentions at heart. Come out here with your head screwed on properly, and understand that you're not in your home country. You need to abide by the laws that are here, because again, they're not for you, they're for the locals. Any altercations can land you in jail out here. All right. Now let's make something clear though. Filipinos are generally friendly. They're good people. I'm not going to say that they're not. But like anywhere else, pride and reputation matter to them. All right. If an expat is seen being loud or aggressive or disrespectful, especially in a public setting like bars, markets, transportation, they run the risk of being reported. Again, unjust vexation, alarm and scandals, grave threats or coercion, or even worse, physical assault. Your words can be seen as a physical assault. You haven't even thrown a punch or anything like that. All they got to say is you threatened them. And that could land you into some serious trouble. You probably didn't, even if you didn't threaten them, you get in trouble for that. All right. If they have witnesses and, friends, security guards, or even strangers that say that you did that, yeah, you're in hot water, man. You're in hot water. So, your tongue is a powerful weapon out here. When you speak, if you ain't got nothing to say, that old saying, if you ain't got nothing to say, don't say nothing at all. You really got to apply that out here, man, because things will irritate you out here. You got to be mindful of this. And then even if you get arrested, the bail system here is not cheap. It's really not that cheap. You might even spend a couple of nights or several nights in a jail cell while charges they're being processed. And honestly, bail isn't a guaranteed. It may be delayed, especially on weekends and holidays. Yeah, you're going to sit in there. All right. You need a local lawyer, and the legal fees can run into thousands of dollars. You're a foreigner, man. They're going to tax you. They're going to tax you. So you got to be very careful out here. All right. You can even get blacklisted out here. Immigration can get involved. They can blacklist you. They can deport you, or even ban you for re-entry into the country. Again, there was a recent case where this guy was running around, this vlogger that we covered before. He was harassing the locals and making videos about it. Yeah, he was facing 20 years in prison. Rightfully so on his case. But you know what I mean? They're making an example out of him. Another way that expats end up in jail is they start mixing love and lifestyle without understanding the risk. Because again, these guys move quickly, man. They start providing us all this financial stability, and then they start getting involved with child rearing. When the child needs disciplining, they want to discipline them. Now you can get in trouble for that, man. The Philippine women, they can discipline their own children, but as a foreigner, you can't do that. You can provide for the child, but you will not discipline this child because it's not your child to discipline. And for me, that's kind of taboo. That's just personal because I don't want to be involved with anybody else's child that I can't discipline if I'm providing for. And that's just something that I provide from, say, within myself on my own manhood. I would not do that if I was you. You know, if you get a girlfriend and she has children, you need to proceed with caution, extreme caution. All right. Family disputes. When Filipino families are getting into it, man, you go get you a cup of coffee, go in that back room or leave the house and let them get their dispute on. I don't care how gangster it gets. Get up out of there because you don't want to be in the middle of that. All right. Even when your wife said, babe, help me out. Babe, help me out. Man, no, get up out of there. The same women who call you babe can file charges against you. Her family or her neighbors, all right, they have her back, not yours for the most part because they known her for her whole life. You're just out here as a foreigner and they stick together. They are community-based people. You have to respect that. It doesn't mean that every Filipina is like that because it's not at all. They're not all like that. But in heated emotional situations, some will use the legal system as leverage. And as a foreigner, you are extremely vulnerable. Even if you and your girlfriend or a wife or whatever, you guys have a great relationship, when things get messed up and you piss her off to a certain level and she called them people on you, it's not in your favor at all. So I'm going to give you a little bit of advice on what you can do to protect yourselves while you're out here. And the first one is learn the basics of laws out here. The RA 9262, the domestic abuse laws. Learn how that works out. Know how the barangay and police complaints work. Understand your legal rights as a foreigner before you even get here. You know, never escalate anything. If an argument starts with the partner or a stranger, walk away immediately. Don't say nothing or go get some help. You know what I mean? Some guy in my neighborhood, it was a guy that I ain't never seen him before. I was messing with my bike and he asked me for a lighter and I was like, I don't smoke, bro. And he started talking crazy to me. He started talking shit, you know, and, you know, getting aggressive or whatever. I think he was a little drunk, you know what I mean? He pulled out his thing and started peeing on the tree, looking at me crazy with a cigarette hanging out his lip, ready to just attack me. And I'm like, man, back of my head is like, man, I'll mop you clean across this doggone floor. You just don't know. But the other half of me was like, nah, don't even do this, man. Go on ahead and go get you some help. So I went to get the security guard, and they escorted him off the property. End of story. I had nothing to say. You know what I mean? And you got to think like that while you're out here. It doesn't matter how tough you are, how much you think you can handle people. Yeah, you can handle them for that moment, but in the end, you're going to lose. All right? So, again, never raise your voice or use physical contact in an argument. Document conflicts, text photos, witnesses, just in case. Be safe, man. Think before you move in with this chick. If you got a girlfriend that wants to move, you better think about that. Don't rush to cohabitate with her, man. You don't know how she is. You really don't know her that well like that. If you do, make sure you set clear boundaries, man. Financial, emotional, and legal boundaries. Get something going on in contract or something. You know, stay out of the local fights, man. A lot of guys go to the bars and they start barking up the wrong tree, and it never turns out right, man. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way for you guys. Even when you're defending yourself or someone else, it can backfire on you. All right. And always keep emergency contacts on you at all times. Lawyers, family members, local police officers, the barangay. You can call them yourself if something happens, and let them know that, hey man, this is going on, and I don't want to get in an altercation with this person, so I'm just gonna keep my mouth closed and let you handle it if it gets that serious. All right. The Philippines can be a wonderful place, man. I'm not gonna say that it's not. Me personally, I enjoy it out here because it's a lot more peaceful than where I come from. All right, but that doesn't mean that it's just this one big playground where we can do whatever we want to do. The rules here make you feel like a loser. All right, especially when trouble hits, when things happen, it makes you feel like you're just empty. You can't do anything, and push comes to shove. If you really have to defend yourself, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get in trouble behind it. So just understand that being out here. The Philippines, again, it's a warm place. It's a great place to be. I truly, truly enjoy this. But, dude, this is not where you want to be if you get into some shit. Man, walk away. and stay away from it. All right, that's all that I have for you guys. If you guys have any questions of me, let me know in the comment section. I'll do my best to help you out to the best of my ability. Stay safe out here. Do not get in any altercations. I made this video because I seen an expat arguing with his girlfriend, and the barangay got called out there. Man, even me, I got up out of there. I didn't even want to see the barangay out there. I just kept driving. I ain't going through this. So yeah, man, this is why I made this video today, man. All right, take care of yourselves. Love yourself at all times. All right, until next time, holla at your boy. Peace out, bro.